Welcome. So today I'm going to talk about the Veeam data pipeline and the security enhancements that were brought in version 12.1. We can see them here with things like the inline AI ML entropy scanning, the Aura rules, enhanced short backup and random scans, on-demand scans. We've got our output to our SIM tool, we've got Sophos and Sophos MDR with our instant API triggering backups. So let's take a look at this in a real live demo. First of all, starting off with our analytics and our threat center score, which is intentionally low. It's a vanilla build and we've not implemented any of our security and best practice analysis or any other best practice like immutability. So let's go ahead and make a start. We go to Home, Security and Compliance Analyzer. We'll let that run really quickly. And we'll see there's some quick wins that we can do straight away to try and boost our score. For example, we haven't got multi-factor authentication enabled. Unknown Linux servers are being trusted automatically at the moment. We have our configuration backup on server, not stored somewhere else for quick recovery, and a few others. So let's go ahead and implement a few of them now. I'll go to our options, security. Straight away we can go for the more secure Linux route. Apply that. Enable our email forwarding, and why not, while we're here, let's add in our SIM. I'm using a very basic Kiwi log server, but we should start seeing things appear in the SIM tool very shortly. There you go. Straight away it's already outputting for us. Now we'll go and look at our configuration backup. We don't want it locally, we want it to a different repository, and we'll enable the password encryption. Now we're going to prove our immutability. So I've got an object storage backup, which is a new feature again of 12.1, and that's backing up to my on-premise immutable object storage. And I'm going to go ahead and hit delete. Now I should say I'm full administrator, so I've got permission to do this, and I haven't implemented any of the enhanced security like 4 eyes that I mentioned earlier to prevent this, which we're going to do it a little bit later on. And straight away we see there's an error there. Because our data is immutable till the 5th of May. So that's worked and we can't delete it as I'd expect. I mentioned our instant API and partnerships with people like Sophos to be able to, if they trigger a virus, trigger the instant API, flag as potential malware in Veeam, and also kick off an instant backup. I haven't got Sophos in my lab, but what I have got is something that can trigger the instant API, a PowerShell script. What I'm going to do though first is just enable that. So if we go back into our options and malware detection, I just want to go and enable the instant API feature. Now that's enabled, I'm going to hit the trigger instant API. And what we can see is that's now kicked off a backup of our DC1 domain controller server. Because we've triggered an instant or a potential virus on that server, we want to get a backup going as quickly as possible, with the aim that we can have at least some backed up protected data before any sort of threat has spread or affected the machine. One of the other enhancements is we can now do an on-demand short backup scan to check the integrity of one of our restore points. So I'm going to go in to our backups. We've got our DC1 and I want to do a scan backup. Now with the enhanced features of the Aura rules, we can either do a antivirus engine, which by default the mount server uses Windows Defender. We can, any antivirus that's got a command line scanner, we can put that command line scanner onto our mount server, very simple XML file, point to it, and we can use that instead. So we've had customers using Trellix, using CrowdStrike and other well-known partners, as well as Sophos. So for today, I'm going to use one of my Aura rules. Now Aura rules can be built as complicated or as simple as you like. I've got a very simple one that looks for personal information, so it's going to scan for 16-digit known credit card numbers, things like 4659, and then the rest of the digits, and see if we detect any on our server. I'll go ahead and run that now, and leave that running in the interest of time. I've got a job the same job that I ran earlier here in the scan backup. We can see that our Aura rule detected something. We can see a match. If we hit the scan log, we can actually see that the mounted volume has a folder called Yara test, and in it ccs.txt. So straight away we know where to look and what's triggered that Yara rule. So let's go on and have a look at the backed up server and see if we can find that file and what's in there. As I said, it detects it on the mounted volume. So we've got C drive, Yara test. We've got our ccs.txt as it detected. And there we go, we can see some 16-digit credit card numbers that have been detected by the Yara rule. So it's working and it's found some personal information that shouldn't be on that server. There are other further enhancements around short backup, so I'm going to go ahead and create a job just to show that. I'll just stick with the default name for now, short backup job 1. We've got the, we can do a full recoverability testing, which involves our virtual labs and a dedicated VMware Hyper-V host. Or we can do the new lighter independent version, which just uses the VBR server and doesn't need that host. I'm going to go and link that to our DC1 backup job. And then we have this theory of how many simultaneous jobs we can do, but now we have randomly selected. So if you've got a big backup job, potentially 100 VMs, we can randomly select 10. So each time the job runs, it'll scan malware or Yara rule, scan 10 of them, with the aim that by the end of the week or end of the month, you've scanned all 100 VMs, because sometimes it's not feasible to do 100 or 1,000 VMs in that backup window in time. So we'll go ahead and enable that. And then again, we've got the theory of we can do our antivirus scan, or we can do our Yara rule scan, or we can do both if we want to be really in-depth. I'm just going to go ahead and use one of the files by hash, looking for known malware hashes. And we can run the job automatically on a schedule or straight after the DC1 backup jobs run, which is what most people do. So straight after the job, we then go and check its integrity, recoverability, make sure the backup's clean. And I'll apply that and finish. And that's our short backup job with the enhancements there. Now, next up I mentioned enhancements around, we had multi-factor in version 12, and now we have the idea of 4 eyes, the sort of 2-key nuclear silo, second administrator verifying our changes. So let's go in and to our users and roles. We can see I've got my administrator that I'm currently logged in as, and we've got John McLean. When he's not saving people in tower buildings, he does the odd backup job and approvals. And I'm going to go ahead and enable that MFA. And I'm just going to reset it because this is a lab and it's had a few MFAs already set up for it. And then the second tab along, authorization, we've got this idea of the 4 eyes, require 4 eyes authorization. So I'm going to enable that. Worth mentioning as well is the default, we should enable the auto log off. I'm not going to do it for the purpose of the lab, but that's a good practice as well. You shouldn't leave console logged in permanently. Okay, so I'm going to come out. So this time I'm not going to use the Windows authentication going as the administrator as I did before. This time I'm going to use John McLean. And now it's triggered for to set up the multi-factor, which I'll go ahead and do. I use Microsoft Authentication on my phone, Google Works, or Cisco Duo, RSA, various other tools. So I've entered that code, and now we're going to log in to the console. So that's loading up. So we're in the console, logged in as John McLean this time. I'm going to go ahead back to our restore points and do the same as we did before, which is try to delete the restore point for our Wasabi object backup. Now this time we can see the operation is pending until a backup administrator approves it. And now we can see we've got our pending approvals, delete backup job, and we can't approve it because we're logged in as the administrator that ran that task. So I'm going to go out now and back in as administrator, and we'll go ahead and approve that. Enter my 2-factor. Now we're in the console. I can go to my pending approvals. Now that I'm in as administrator, not John McLean, I can approve that change. That will start the deletion off. As expected, we have the immutability till the 5th, so it can't actually delete it. But again, we've shown the immutability working, and now the 4 eyes, that second administrator needs to approve. So we made a few changes, and we've got a mutable backup set up, some of the recommended security and compliance analysis. So let's finally go back to our threat center and see what our score is now. And there we have it, a whistle-stop tour of some of the version 12.1 enhancements, and going from a vanilla build, applying some of the easy, simple, quick fixes and immutability to get our score into the moderate safe zone. Now I implore you to go higher and beyond this, and above 90%, which is where we really want to be. Well, this is just a quick guide on some of those enhancements and how to implement them. I'm James Blower, thank you very much for watching, bye bye.